Delhead Tony. This is a beautiful Thursday evening. Normally, it would be Tuesday, and you guys know how this works. It's drinks and toys. We get some drinks in us. We talk about toys, whatever's popular, and we try to have as much fun as possible. That's what's up. Salud. Thank you so much to our guests, and I will get to him in a minute. But Mr. Wheezy and Mr. Johnny did not know about this, and I apologize. This was very impromptu. Normally, my counterparts are here with me, but if not, that's okay. Guys, welcome everybody else. We're going to have a great time tonight, and we're going to talk about something that's pretty cool. So before I introduce, I'm going to say I have had the opportunity to be part of the coolest thing I've ever had in my whole toy. I don't even call it career because this is fun for me, guys. But my whole toy career, which was to be a part of a quote-unquote unboxing of a USS Flag from G.I. Joe. And if you don't know, it was the toy that all of us as kids were like, holy crap, how do we get this? Where can I put it? And will my mom and dad buy it? And the answer was always no across the board. And it was super rad. And we had the opportunity to watch somebody open it and almost like a kid on Christmas be like, oh my God, this is so cool. And so this gentleman tonight, Mr. Ed from Mars Auctions, am I correct? Mars
Auctions. And AntiqueToys.com too.
Yes. Some of the coolest shit.
And Robot Japan.
Some of the coolest shit you have ever seen will have come out of this.
Yeah.
This cat Ed's going to enlighten you guys. I'm sorry, man. But Ed, please take it away, man. Talk about the flag and where this came from.
So imagine Bing, your phone. It says, are you interested in this? And I said, what does yours look like? And it's like, normally you say, oh, well, this is a sample of what I got. And the one I got is like all crunched up and nasty. He's like, no. This is what I got. And I said, is that it? He's like, no, I do have this. What's the condition of that? He's like, oh, I didn't play with it. And so to answer your question, I got a cold call for my AntiqueToys.com business out of Massachusetts. And the kid said, do you like G.I. Joes? Sure. Okay. Would you be interested in some of my old toys? Sure. Send me a picture. Bing. Bing. Bing, 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 bing. I said, what's the story? And he says, oh, I got them. I got them for Christmas. And I didn't want to play with them. So we put it in the attic. And he said that just completely deadpan. He's like, yeah, I got this as a kid. And I got that. And didn't do anything for me. So I put it in the attic. But I just realized they're up there. And I thought I'd give you a call. And anyways, we worked things out so that our Mars auction is selling it. But what do you think is the biggest problem I had when it's in Massachusetts?
So, I would say transport's one.
Ding. It's 1, 2, and 3. Yeah.
Right. And then maybe 4 is, I don't know what I'm getting if I'm going to transport this down.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks it's sealed. He thinks it's this. He thinks it's that. It gets to you and you're like, what is actually inside this box?
Exactly. And I mean, when I do, I call it a listing or a consignment. At a certain level, I do a sanity check of if it's the right person, if they're a fraud, if they've got the toy, and if they can follow through. But if somebody has this and has this, and they say they didn't play with it, I try not to dig too much into details, frankly, because I want it. I want it for the auction, even if it's a empty box. And I said, oh, what condition is it? And the guy said, well, I never played with it. And I said, you never played with it? What do you mean? He's like, well, I think it's sealed. It might be sealed. I'm not sure. I just got it and I didn't want it. Which, I mean, you're an 80s kid. Can you imagine that? Can you literally imagine your parents saying, son, daughter, I spent $180.
So I
I
can't
spent
imagine my
another
family having that kind of money, Ed, where they're
yeah,
like, "Hey,
yeah.
we bought you a flag," and I'm like, I don't need it. I'm playing with my Transformers. Put it in the attic.
So I didn't ask many questions. He said it was kind of sealed. I said, is it sealed or not sealed? He's like, I'm not sure. And I said, well, just get it to me. And I said, we'll pay shipping. And we usually pay for labels in advance.
Yeah.
And he says, well, how should I pack it? And I said, I would not pack it on its own. I would put paper, then bubble wrap, and then do a box around it. Well,
Make your own box if you have to.
exactly.
Truthfully.
Well, the first time he tried to buy standardized one, there's no such thing as standardized box.
Yeah.
The second time, he says, maybe I need to make a custom box. And I said, yes, you do. And so then he sent me the measurements and he sent me the weight. And United States Post Office wouldn't ship it. FedEx wouldn't ship it, and UPS wouldn't ship it.
Greyhound.
And so then I realized you're probably too fat on the margins. So then he made a second custom box, and we actually shipped it. I think United or Brown UPS, and I think our shipping bill was like $320.
Oh crap!
And it was door-to-door priority, though. I did not
Glad you
want
paid
it.
for shipping.
Yeah, I did not want it sitting in some loading dock in like the deep south for 5 rainstorms to then come in, on a budget. So we got it in, and then you ended up seeing it.
Yeah.
It was sealed, but then a more glossy seal on the opposite side.
It was gorgeous, but yes.
Right. And the more glossy was kind of like thicker and stronger. Because I don't know about you, but I've held plenty of older Transformer toys. And sometimes you turn them on the edge and you're like, and the tape flips off, you know? It was not that original, really thin stuff.
So people don't realize, not to cut you off, Ed, but people don't realize, like, when you have vintage toys and tape and everybody goes, oh, it tape popped. Well, I can tell the difference between a tape pop and you resealed. Is that Diaclone? Right. That is Diaclone. I hate you a little bit inside.
Okay. So when you get this, if it's sealed, and it's usually sealed by the vendor, not by the company, you could almost go, and it turns to dust, right?
Yep.
It turns to dust. And so when we got the flag, it was thicker, glossy tape, and
so it was a reseal.
So it was a reseal, and the reseal had to be the parent.
Sure.
I talked to him a little bit. He's like, "Yeah, that makes sense. My parents probably resealed it right before they put it all the way up in the attic. It might have or pulled it down." So we knew it was resealed, but only at our event did we recognize it wasn't like put together, not used, and then thrown back in, or if it was baggied. And
we knew it was legit.
How would you describe it?
Oh my God. I'm going to tell you, man, when we did the unboxing and the pieces came out and they were so perfect and everything was so white. And then I'm a big, I love boxed items, but at the same, so I'm an inbox guy. That's how I live my life. But when I open a toy, if I see a toy that's been the seal's been broken, you're going to open it. I look for the accessories, whether it be the little booklets that came with them.
Yes.
That's my thing. Yeah. See, when I saw
stickers.
Yes, when I saw that pamphlet of stickers that were super white.
Oh, yeah.
And the instruction booklet was super white. And then you got the pamphlet that said, hey, for this year, here's all the Joes you can buy. Right. I lost my mind because that's what I remember as a kid was these pieces and these pamphlets. And I'm like, the toy is awesome and it's worth the money, but I would spend the money just to have the nostalgia of those pamphlets.
And it's like a model kit, right? So if you
100%.
have a model kit, you got a beautiful box. And if you open the box, the model people go nuts if the sprues are still in their own little baggie,
Yep.
and if the sticker has all the little stickers still on the wax still, and the instructions are there. It's the same way. I mean, I really, when you think about it, the flag is really technically a model kit. So if it's a
I agree
model
with that.
kit, there's an experiential thing. It's not like RTR ready to run. It's like, okay, here's my Joe. Oh, I gotta work the pieces and cut the pieces, put them. I gotta read the directions, and number one goes with number two. So that's, I think, one of the beauties of the Joe line. It was experiential. So you did modeling, you built it. It was like a giant snap together kit. Then you put the stickers on, and you had to be good to put the stickers on straight, not like
Or they
all
look terrible. As a kid,
catty.
you like, I hope this
Yeah,
goes on okay. Like,
and
yep.
then you could play with it. And I really thought the way the flag arrived, it's still like a model kit that was never sealed. Like the outside was never sealed, and we literally opened the box just to peer underneath it. And what I was scrolling for real quick is I was scrolling to show the pictures. Like the action figure Keel Hall had his gun, and then
Yep.
the gun had his baggie, and then that baggie was in the baggie for Keel Hall, and then that baggie was inserted with all the parts still on the sprue with its own bag. And I, to a certain degree, I kind of think AFA could almost grade, and nobody would want to do this, but they could almost grade an empty box. They could almost grade the deck, and this packet A and this packet B and this packet C.
I
And
unfortunately thought the same thing as
it's
a possible
still
purchaser.
dead stock sealed. Yeah. But going back to your comment about, how was it found? Cold storage. Massachusetts attic cold storage.
It's awesome.
Like I do the antique toys, and I ended up getting a 140-year-old archive in an attic in North Dakota. And it was a bank with a clown, a bank with Uncle Sam, a Blériot airplane where the wings flapped and the propeller turned, and a pusher propeller turned that was made out of tin, that was hand painted. A doll, a bag of marbles, and a couple other things. But at 140 years, when they went to the attic and found it in cold storage, it looked like it was brand new. And so here we are with kind of a brand new piece. I'm gonna kind of show this real quick. So all that red
Terradrome.
injection molding around the edge is sprues. That's what they call sprue. And so the
Yeah.
modelers talk about the pieces still being on the sprue, and that's the Terradrome. You didn't see it, but I went ahead and opened the Terradrome too. And this is the way the edge of the Terradrome came in. It had a cardboard, and all of these pieces were pushed around the edge of the Terradrome, still baggied. And so the USS flag's kind of the same way. I'm just checking to see.
So I'm actually, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna share.
Sure.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna share it to the auction.
Yeah, that would be
So,
good.
guys, gals, people, I'm gonna say it right now. I am in both of these bids. I'm down for the Terradrome. I'm down for the flag.
So,
Daddy is putting up some money. Shellhead Tony has got the goods. But let me go ahead and show you guys what we're looking at right now. They're so pretty.
you're gonna illuminate things for me? All right.
I'm sorry. The leg from Toy
Story.
Christmas Story. Oh my God, one of the best things ever happened in my life. That I used to know that movie by heart. But so, team, if you don't know, if you see it down here, let me go. Can you guys see that?
It's nice. Yeah, I see that on my side.
So let me go ahead and see if I can open up to live. We used to be able to do this, but anyway, if you don't see, so you guys all see this? Ed, you see it?
I see it on my side, absolutely.
Guys, this is absolutely gorgeous. It's as white as you're going to get for a Terradrome or any of those toys that came back like that from G.I. Joe, where the larger ones had that white background with the little bit of color that they could do, black and white, essentially with a little bit of color, usually red. But look at that Terradrome. Everything's sealed.
Yeah.
Everything's gorgeous.
And go back one image.
Yeah.
So what they did is they made little triangles of the corners, cardboard triangles to fit around the circle. And you see the edge of the little cardboard triangle. And inside of those, when you pull it out for the first time, it's like stuffed with toy goodness. Yeah. So again, if you ever see one of these and they claim it's unused, those inserts are really interesting. They're just triangle pillars that push on each of the four corners of the box. Yeah.
So all of these pieces are just, I mean, they're gorgeous, man. Everything's gorgeous. It's just such a nice piece. And if you're looking to spend a couple bucks, and look, you're gonna spend a couple bucks. Let's be real, right? If you're an enthusiast, you guys are down for this. Spend the money. It's a great piece. It's unopened. It's gorgeous. You're not gonna open it and play with it. It's gonna be an inbox. Either you're gonna get it graded or you're just gonna keep it. In my world, I love G.I. Joe. I had as a kid, but that's not my forte now. I would buy it just to have it graded, preserve it, and know that is a gorgeous piece of history and move on.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that the kid said he didn't play with it, and then it's like he literally did not play with it. He didn't even take a pair of scissors and open one thing. Not even one thing, and I don't think even the catalogs were opened up. I mean,
no, they weren't, man. That's a crazy part.
That's like pollution of the brain. You open the catalog, and then you're like, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yes. So when we were opening it, we were looking at it. I'm like, I'm holding the catalog in my hand. I'm like, oh, it's never been opened. And in my head, I'm like, don't open it. Don't open it. You can't open it. Don't pan it out. And I'm like, I want to open it so bad, but it was so nice and so awesome.
Yeah. No, it's a neat piece. The other interesting part is, like, in the world of cards or comics, or just box art, I like to talk about saturation, right?
Okay.
Heavily saturated. That meant it was not stuck under fluorescent lights, and heavily saturated. So, like, if you have any of these toys and you end up putting them in a fluorescent case, it'll start to fade. Kind of like, well, heck, I don't know if you remember Kmart back in the day, but Kmart had some old products that would fade because their fluorescent lights were so strong. And the G.I. Joe stuff can fade in a heartbeat. So when it came out of cold storage, like, if it was a comic grade of saturation, it'd be like 10 out of 10. And to me, that's really neat because God knows what they made it out of. I mean, it might have been like whalebone, orangutan fur. You get little miniature children down here for the inks. Like, they came up with probably the absolute worst inks in the world, but it's saturated. Oh, my friend says hi. I've got a Maine Coon.
I have 4 cats, and I'm surprised Raven is not with us.
Yeah. So
cats.
What surprised you, though, in terms of like the paperwork?
So I will tell you that. So when we opened the package and we took the video and everything, we saw stickers that were the widest I've ever seen in my life.
That's that saturation we're talking about. Yeah.
But they're fantastic. Like, those pieces, it's almost like, I hate to say it, like, I don't want to denounce the piece because the piece is awesome, but it's like, all right, let's just say I own a flag.
Right.
I'm like, all right, I own a flag. It's not a big deal. So if I see another flag, I'm like, I already own one.
Right.
The stickers and the instructions and everything that came, the accoutrement, if you will, was so stupid clean. It was nuts, man. Like, when you said it wasn't touched, you weren't kidding.
No.
This shit was not touched.
I still want
Shellheads,
to.
this was amazing.
I still want to know if like the ultimate buyer gets out a pair of those like hobbyist scissors, and they're like, "All right, I'm a millionaire." Snip, 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 and he starts snipping them
Ugh.
off, and then they're like, "Hold on a second, let me get the stickers out and put it." I've literally driven people nuts in the past where I would get mint toys and use them,
Yeah.
and you do that like on a micro level. Like, okay, if you ended up with a, I don't know, an Empire Strikes Back toy with a yellow bubble, you could probably drive somebody nuts. You wouldn't care. You just pop open the bubble and check it out and play with it, right? Well, imagine if you're like a millionaire, billionaire type person. Like, I mean, hell, let's just pick like who are the bigger personalities during COVID for the kids streamers that would
Right.
do like Jake Paul, let's say. All right. Imagine if him or let's pretend you or pretend somebody else. Imagine if they're like, hold on a second. All right, let's open this. And they open it. And then they're like, all right, let's take every piece off the
I'd
sprue
lose my goddamn mind.
and put it together live stream. Can you knock them? I mean, would you do it?
No, but I'm a different genre. So, like, I was actually talking to my
Right.
girl about that today.
Right.
We're talking about toys. We're talking about when is the bubble going to pop on some of these toys that we love and covet right now.
Yeah.
And so I thought about it. I'm like, I'm 44. So I
Right.
said, all right, let's say in 10 years, right? I'm 54 years old.
Right.
My kids don't care about Ninja Turtles. They don't care about G.I. Joe. They care about any of that, right?
Oh, I know exactly where you're going on this.
So in 10 years, I'm 54 and I'm like, yeah, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Turtles. And my kids are like, no. And I'm like, oh, crap. So now all of a sudden,
yeah.
And so our parents are actually what brought it up was we were talking about the flag and we're talking about where are these guys finding these toys? And I said in 10 years,
right,
even 15, these people who had these toys, these crazy toys in the attics, they're going to be dying off. And so
I literally did a presentation in San Antonio for the Antique Toy Club last month on this. All right. Literally.
It's spooky, right?
Well, it's not spooky. So all right. So I'll do a little for instance, right? Time and money, right?
So Ed, while you're doing that, real quick. So my response to that is, okay, what's going to happen is myself, I'm 44. So 10 years from now, I'll be 54. My kids don't care about that shit. So now, are those Joes, are those toys, are those Robotechs, are those Turtles, do they still hold that value that they held for the clientele that was trying to collect them 10 years prior, or do they just go because nobody knows what they are?
They don't fall off, okay? Until you start getting to end of life. So
yes, Jeff, we see you, by the way.
Yeah. So
he's at a concert.
You're here at let's say 40 something.
Okay.
50 something.
Yep.
60 something.
Okay.
Your generation starts passing at 70, 80, 90, 99.
Oh, thank God I lived till 99.
Right. So in terms of stupid peak value, it's probably going to be two waves. One is you're in your 40s, and then there will be the baby period of time, and then the next will be the empty nesters, the kids. So do you have kids?
Oh yeah.
Okay. When will they leave the nest? Like, let's just pick 62, right?
So my daughter, I got a good, like, probably 6 years before she really leaves, like 20, right?
Right, right.
And then my son, he's got a good, 8, 10.
Okay. So let's say 60. Just pretend 60. So
Yeah.
when our generation is 60, we will be empty nest.
Yep.
We'll get the money back. There'll be another peak, right? There'll be another peak, right? And then if your GI Joe collector group is 100, and then it's 80, and then it's 50, and then it's 20, and then it's 10, and then it's 5, that's when you're in trouble. And I see that with antique toys. Like, let's pretend Crystal, right? The older ladies collected Crystal during World War II, and they collected it in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s.
So what's your peak now, Ed? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but what's
Sure,
your
sure.
peak right now?
Peak, I think peak price.
Well, so let me ask you
Yeah,
this. So Chatty Cathy, do you have any Chatty Cathys?
I do, and that peak is long gone for people. Yeah.
Okay. So I
So
was
the, the
curious.
the peak is when the people are either in their 40s or maybe in their 65.
Okay.
So they
So Chatty Cathy
sell their
is
business.
she's way too up there. She's done. She's gone.
So Chatty's probably what, from the 50s,
Yeah.
which means the person 60
75,
years
80.
old, they'd be 2010. So maybe it would
Okay.
have peaked in 2000, 2010. Yeah.
All right. All right.
And I mean, I bet you could talk to every old lady and they'd know about Chatty Cathy, but then you talk to all the young girls and they wouldn't know about Chatty Cathy, right?
I'm an old soul, man. I remember Chatty Cathy. I remember my mother, the car.
Okay, okay.
I watch a lot of old movies, man. I yours,
Yeah.
mine, and ours.
Right,
The
right.
African Queen. I grew up. My mother, I love her to death. My grandfather,
Mm-hmm.
they made sure I watched old movies, and I appreciate them, and I appreciate old toys
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because of that. So
So there's an exception on this goofy little thing. You ready? All right. New movie, new comics, new publicity. So if let's pick Joe, if they do new movies, everything's fresh. If they do new releases, everything's fresh. If pop culture takes a hold of it, like Barbie, Barbie's got legs. Why? Why? Why does it have legs as of late? Because of the movie, right?
sure,
So most toys die down when the generation's gone, but some toys jump generations because of comics, because of movies, because of just some unknown pop phenomena. Like you just can't predict it. Like space toys. If I told you, I said, "Hey, I've got a whole case of 1950s Japanese robots," what would your reaction be? Cool, right?
like yeah, I would think it's cool. My
Yeah.
son would be like, "That's stupid," but all of a sudden, oh, it's the same stuff I'm playing with now.
Right, 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 right. So some things have legs. Space toys have legs. Barbies have legs. A lot of the franchising has legs. So your Joes, to answer your question, um, they definitely would have legs for your generation up to like 65, right?
Sure.
But if they keep producing movies, if they keep producing comics, it'll be kind of like a Superman Batman effect. Like when did Superman come out?
Oh
30s,
God,
right?
what, like 40 something, 41, 42?
Right around there. And when did Batman come out? Detective is like 30s, I believe.
I would say
So
he's earlier than Superman.
yeah, so if you look at Batman and you look at Superman, it almost died, I think, in the 70s, 80s. Like if you look at comic book ads or comic collector volumes of what things are worth, Superman, Batman kind of almost died until grading came out. And then movies, 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 and then they re-release comics, re-release comics. So um, Joe could fall into that category where um, you think it's saturated and they come up with a fresh movie. You think it's saturated, they do something brand new. Um, so Joe's different. It's kind of like Star Wars. Star Wars is kind of different there too, wouldn't you say?
So Star Wars for me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a Star Wars guy. I've never been, but my girlfriend is, and I've
Right.
been like Rubber Girl. She's big into it, and I've been learning to understand it because of her.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the toys are concerned, what I've noticed is they re-release toys, right? So like you have the OG
Oh yeah.
characters, the OG figures, they re-release them,
Yeah.
and Power of the Force or what was the other one? You had the green ones and red ones. You had Power of the Force, Force
Right.
Awakens. I'm not sure what's called.
Yes, it's been a long time on those. Like you're talking the 90s releases.
Yeah,
And
100%. I'm sorry, man.
saturation, total saturation.
So they just kept like
Mhm.
re-releasing these toys, but it never goes away. The collector is always there. They're always buying Star Wars, and Star Wars doesn't die. It's one of
No.
those things that it has not died for generations. So like
Yeah, I
even
bet.
though the generation of us might be dead, where it's like, hey, nobody's collecting OGs, you
Mhm.
have new collectors that are like, hey, I love Star Wars, but vintage for me is 90s. Oh, it
Right.
hurts my heart, but it's 90s or it's
But what do
early
they
2000s.
inevitably do? They inevitably march back to get
At some
some
point,
of
they
the
go back to
older.
vintage if they can
Yeah,
afford it.
they go to the original. Like what is the most original that you can get? And it'd be a 12 back. So like right now, if I held a 12 back in front of you and it was AFA graded 85,
I'd
we'd
lose my shit. Nobody
we'd
else
be
would.
like, $2,000, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd lose my
And
mind. Nobody else
and
would.
10 years ago it was 15, and 10 years before that it was 900, and 10 years before that they didn't even grade stuff. Um, and that's kind of been a weird phenomena with the toys. Um, there's a massive bump from everybody that kind of lost interest for a while, turning around and getting their whole collection graded. Because with comics almost died, and then comics, um, I think CGC figured out that they can create an artificial scarcity by grading it, and then everything jumped. Like Detective Comics, Batman, all of the
So
Iron Man,
I
first
I
Iron Man.
like Detective Comics a lot, but I agree with you. I think the values, I think they dropped off just honestly because of like popularity and publicity. Because like
Right.
anything, when when I was growing up, Nightfall, Night Quest, Night's End, everything where
Right.
Batman got his back broken, all that crap.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
remember when Superman died?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so Superman, your cat is awesome and I love him. Her. Either way, I love
Yeah.
him.
Her.
I'm a cat guy, so
Oh,
I'm a cat daddy. I got 4 cats and I love them.
she's saying hi.
Oh, she's so
She's
pretty. She's very
Cheers.
pretty. That gray coat, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. You be good.
So hey man, I love cats. Doesn't hurt me. But I remember like with Superman, you had the Reign
Mhm.
of the Superman, you had Death of Superman, you had
Right.
Rebirth. And so those comics are like pennies now. They're not worth anything.
Oh, they are. Yeah. Yeah.
But it
Well, that's.
hurts. I remember back when you bought the Death of Superman, you had a black bag, white bag, and you had
Yep.
newsstand.
Yep. Yep.
And they were all worth different amounts. The same thing with Batman, where it was like you had Batman 500,
Right.
I think, where he came back in the Azrael. Well, it was Azrael really? He came back in his costume,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I thought Asbats was my favorite ever, and Azrael still is hands down my favorite Batman.
But all of that was a calculated release to collectors with a
I agree.
definite upside in it, right? That's completely different than like if you and I said, "Oh, I just heard an iPod Nano was $5,000," or "I just heard an Apple II is $10,000," or "I found out an early Apple product is 3,000." Totally unexpected, completely unexpected. Like
Sure.
the comic collectors knew that these other comics were going to be valuable. That's completely different than at the same time. Nobody friggin' knew that Magic White Lotus would be off the charts. Nobody knew that Pokemon Fossil would trade for $250,000 for an
And I
unopened
hate
deck.
Pokemon. Sorry.
Well, the point is,
I know. I'm sorry.
you can't you pop culture you always miss. I mean, that's my belief. You will 100% miss the next cultural thing. Like for instance, World War, and this was part of my presentation, World War II. Can you imagine finishing up World War II and saying, "Hey, Dad, I bought a Japanese robot," and your dad just killed Japanese people? He'd say, "Get that out of here, or I'm going to beat your ass to a pulp."
Sure.
And he throws it out. So nobody would have predicted the Japanese stuff. When people are into heavy steel toys, nobody predicted figures. And then action figures came, and they're like, "What the hell is this plastic crap?" And I'm like, "Time out. This plastic crap, 5 12-back Star Wars figures trades more than every booth in a radius of 50 people. Get out of town. Like, stop being judgmental." And then next is like, could you and I have predicted a video game cartridge that's graded for Zelda?
Yep.
The $80,000. Like, who the hell wants this shit? It's plastic. It's got bubble wrap, right?
Yep.
And so if you presented comic books, right? Like, oh, this is the next big thing. It's the Batman 5000, blah blah blah, or it's the death of Superman. Everybody'd say, "Oh yeah, that's a sure thing." Oh, you're fucked at that point. It's like Hess trucks. Oh, these Hess trucks are going to be worth a lot of money later, and everybody's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, Hess trucks. That's the ticket." What happens? They're fucked. They're adult collectibles,
I have
right?
never seen a Hess truck sell, man.
so I
That
guess
shit
where I'm
died
going
so
is
quick.
we can't see it coming. We can't see it coming. About all you can do is pay attention within like 5 years of what was really hot. And if you got kids, you can capture that for your kids. If you're a speculator, if you're an evil speculator, like, you could corner the market on the thing. I try not to play that way. That's why I kind of have antique toys. But I mean, part of the presentation was, did the 40s people see Japanese toys coming? No. Did the 50s, 60s people see action figures coming? No. And then my next question, which is for you, is what were the toy types of the 80s?
So
What are the toys of the 80s that are the hot things? Just in general, what's the category?
So for myself, it would have been either GI Joe, of
Which
course.
is what? A
Anything military or war,
action
action figures.
figure. Okay, so figures, right?
As a kid, anything that
Yeah.
had to do with robots, action
Yeah.
robots, whether it be
Robots are
GoBots,
technically figures.
Transformers,
Yeah.
Robotech, whoever the company was that was putting stuff out,
Right.
that was what we wanted. We wanted well, I would say anything 3 3/4 for didn't have to be GI Joe or military.
Yeah, we wanted
Anything
figures.
3 3/4 that could
Right.
fight with our other guys.
Right. So
So
what
like
was?
Visionaries, you name it. So I would
So
say action figures 3 3/4 size,
yep.
robots or Transformers or whatever
Which
the
are
hell you want to call it.
technically action figures. Yeah, they really are.
Yeah, so anything that like was what our 3 3/4 could play with. So it all makes sense. Anything that could all like scoop together,
Yeah.
and that was our genre. And as like,
Right. So take a time out.
yeah,
1998 to 2000. Well, 90, or I better back up. Yeah, 98 to 2 excuse me, 88 to 2000, or 88 to 1999. What were the toys? So 88 to 2007,
so
8.
Pokemon shit was coming out.
No, before then.
GI Joe died.
You're right. What was everybody
Pogs.
really fascinated with?
For us, Pogs was a big thing, and the electronics.
Electronics. So
for me though,
yeah.
phones were not a big deal until 96, 97.
Right. So where I'm going is we went from action figures to electronics.
And now
Sega?
forget it, man.
Sega, right? Nintendo.
Yep.
Super NES, cartridges, all electronics, early iPhones, 486s. So that those games were actually toys. So all of us action figure people hadn't in the past been able to see that a video game cartridge would represent toys because it's gaming. Games are
Sure.
toys. That people couldn't recognize that when you go to a house of a toy collector from that era, they have a Nintendo, they have a Sega, they have a Super NES. That's their toy. They have a toy shelf. Their toy shelf does not look like
Well,
traditional
it's not
toys.
like now where they make this crap where it's like
Yeah,
you can't see it. Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Oh, you can't see it. It's too dark. But
Okay.
the one-up arcades.
Right. And so then the next question for you for the toy people to figure out, which is rhetorical. 98 to 2000s, what were the toys?
Well,
Where?
for me it was Exo Squad. But what do you got?
No, 98. Forward.
Pokemon cards.
Cards, gaming.
That shit's back.
So what I'm
Pokemon is back.
saying
Sorry.
is I'm saying that if you sat at a toy show in 97 to 2000, the guys trying to sell iron and steel were blown away by the action figure dudes moving $50,000 worth of product. Now, action figure dudes, steel toy dudes, people with electronics are blown away that there could be $250,000 worth of transactions in a toy show. And we don't get it. And the reason we don't get it is because the World War II vets didn't see Jap toys coming, pardon the French. The boomer kids didn't see figures coming. The figure kids didn't see video gaming coming. And we're now not friggin' able to see Pokemon, Magic, One Piece, Disney cards.
Yep.
In the whole card genre.
Because these kids have fucking cell phones with the entire world on them.
But their card collection can be this big and be $50,000 to $100,000.
Sure.
So all I'm saying is, every generation does not understand the wisdom, see the logic with the next generation stuff. They don't get it. Like the train guys didn't get airplanes. The airplane guys didn't get robots. The robot guys didn't get figures. You as a dealer, a lot of guys do not see Pokemon. But that's where the money curve is coming. Like just pure economics. That's where the interest level is coming. And so like myself, when I run my auction, I try to have exposure to Pokemon, graded comics, pressed steel, cast iron, figures, gaming systems, radio controlled cars, and as many graded card game cards in the future as possible. And it all ties back to your earlier question. Your earlier question is, when will the USS flag drop in value? Well, if you realize that game card people are not Joe people, and robot people are not Joe people, which are the people before you and the people after, you then have to recognize Gen X is the action figure Joe people, okay? So as long as we're around, as long as there's money in our generation, Joes are going to be great. But
until 10, 15 years from now, when we start to
until
bleed
we're
out.
85, 90, 95, 100, and no matter how much we want to hold it, we're going to have to consolidate our houses due to expenses, retirement homes. So you have 25 years.
Here's hoping.
For big value.
Sure.
With a giant exception, right? And the other part of my presentation was there's one giant difference, and it's three things. It's condition, condition, condition. Okay. So you then currently you get, I mean, it seems bizarre, but they're literally hedge fund buyers, and there's Hollywood star people that buy toys,
Oh,
and there are people that hold money in toys, like that are investors. Like, and I'm talking really old toys, like I don't know. You can't
talk
really
to me
see
about
it.
the freaking I assume it's uh Godzilla. What is that
Yeah,
underneath?
this is a Hawaii Blue Stray
80s
Godzilla,
or 60s?
60s. So this is the original G
Ooh, nice.
from Bullmark.
Ah,
But
it's so pretty. Look at his feet.
yeah, but it's condition. So what happens is when time goes on, if you've got mint sealed perfect,
Yeah.
it still will do pretty damn well. It really will. But there's a giant separation between like let's just pick Star Wars. There's crusty used Star Wars that might have been worth 100 that now might be worth 20 or 40. But then there's the AFA 95 that's stupid. So condition. Yeah. I like my
I love that piece, Ed. I really do. I love
Thanks. Yeah, you need to come over.
that. I should, man. I'm a very big Godzilla fan, and I'm a fan because of my brother.
Yeah.
My brother was. Oh, I hate you so much. I
And this
love
sucks.
Diaclone.
Yeah.
Oh, Diaclone.
So now this condition. I mean, they've released Transformers, they've re-released it, they've done Diaclone style. But how do you think this would do on auction?
So
Blue Streak? Good, right?
$3-4 at least to start.
It'd
I'm one of
probably
those
do
people.
fine. Yeah.
I'm one of those people that like Diaclone is very all over the place because you either are die hard. You got to stop doing this.
Right.
Oh,
So
man,
Chogokin, Raiden,
dude,
so writing.
Choigoken, Gakken,
Right.
any of those. What's the one starts with a T? Not Takara.
Takatoku.
Oh my God, any of that?
Yeah.
I have. So my Mospedas are all Gaiken, I think, for Robotech.
Yeah. Did you
These
see
beautiful
the
ass
Gakken I have
pieces.
up on auction?
I should fucking give them to you to put on auction. So they're small,
Yeah.
and it's the Cyclone Rider with the bike with the Veritech, but they're small boxes.
It's probably a Singapore, unless you're extremely lucky.
They pull about 600 a piece.
Yeah.
I paid $1,000 for all three, and I scalped them.
Yeah. Those are great. On my auction right now, I've got a hover cycle. That's the Japanese release Robotech, crispy mint boxed. So pull up the auction and see if you can pull that other window.
See if I can do that. I'm a very big Veritech and
yeah.
Ugh.
You know I ran Robot Japan, right?
No, I didn't, but you're hurting me.
Yeah. So you're asking companies, right? You ready? Yeah. So Bullmark, Clover, Takimi, Takatoku.
You have a Cyclone. You have a Cyclone bike.
What's that?
Oh my gosh, I could buy it. All right, hold on. I'm going to share this.
Show it on the screen. It's total crap. You don't want it.
Holy crap. No, I think I'm going to bid on this. Terrible. I didn't know you had this. Hold on.
It's horrible. Horrible. Let me
say this till I see it on the screen. I'm like, ooh.
So you want to see something?
Look at that. It's a Cyclone bike.
Yeah. $60. Yours for only $60. It'll.
If you're not bidding on this, guys. Ooh. Team, I might. If you're not bidding on it.
So how many people should we say hi to?
Oh my gosh. We're up to like 20 something right now.
Oh, cool.
Can we do this? Hold on. Let me close this. I'll share that.
That's neat.
There we go. What do you got? Oh. Matchbox. Oh, crud. Is that the instructions?
No, this is what Toy Fair released. Here, I got a price guide for you. It's in mimeograph form. You could get a action figure assortment for $1.95. You could get, well, anyways, that's the price list for Toy Fair for Matchbox, but Matchbox handled the franchising for this shitty franchise. Terrible. Horrible.
Voltron. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Voltron, Matchbox, and Voltron Bandai.
Yeah.
Bandai is so it's cool. So like Matchbox was just like anybody who wanted to buy it in the States.
All right.
I had most of those toys. But
do you want to know the history on that?
I don't know if I do. I thought I did.
So Popey Toys of Japan, like if you pull out a Golion, you turn them around, there's a little oval in some hieroglyphics. That's Japanese. That says Popey, Popy, but it's in I think kanji for Popey.
So I've had Bandai ones that had the square.
Right. So Popey was a subsidiary of Bandai.
Yeah.
Okay, and so Popey released Golion in '81, and then
you should tell Jeff because Jeff has no idea.
Okay, well, Popey released.
I have to keep schooling him every time we
Golion in 1981, and it was Japanese only. And then Forbidden Planet, I think it was Mike Luckman and Forbidden Planet in New York, New York. He was importing them in 81, 82, and he put them in his comic store just off of Broadway. And the Bandai execs walked into his store, and they're like, what the heck is this briefcase box walking out the door with adults? Why are adults spending $120 on Golion, on Voltron, on it was Goggle 5, it was Sun Vulcan, it was Combatra? Why is this happening?
And Ed, I love you know this, by the way.
So, well, I did the interview, and so the Bandai execs created Bandai America, and then Bandai America was Mike Luckman and Forbidden Planet distributing. He had the rights to GoBots, which he accidentally refused, which Tonka picked up. He had the SDF-1 rights, and then he had the rights to
SDF-1,
Golion and Voltron.
Yep.
And so he created a family of the gods, a kin of the gods, which is Godaiken. So he actually branded Godaiken. The Japanese execs brought Voltron in and put him in styrofoam and with a box and called him Golion. And then Matchbox saw a good thing, but they recognized that they couldn't get past the American safety standards, right, with this toy.
Like shooting bullets.
Because the toy shot missiles, his head shot off, he shot here.
So the original Godaikens, they had all these missiles that could shoot out.
Yeah, totally.
I don't have it anymore. I sold that.
Like 30 seconds? Just a sec.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right, yeah.
You're also killing me, Ed. All right, guys, gals, everybody, brief pause. Ed's going to get something. I'm going to get something. I'm going to step away for a second. Brief pause. Ugh. Ed, I'll be right back.
All right, here we go.
Hold on, be right there.
Cheers.
Whew. All right. Sorry.
All right.
Oh, look at you, man. You trying to like kill my world?
No.
All right. What you got?
All right. So this started because the Matchbox execs figured out that this was being sold to adults.
Ugh, it's deliciously gorgeous.
All right. And so you're talking about missiles, right? Like we can just look right here. I'll turn it 90 degrees. So you see all those missiles?
Yep,
So
I had those.
yeah. So all of that stuff, and you may have this in your collection already. So
Well,
I
not
don't-
anymore.
yeah. Anyways, all of this stuff messed up people's eyeballs.
So everything was silver, and then you had all the missiles that would launch out of the little projectile things.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
kids would
I had
all of
those.
this stuff
Yep.
had to be yanked. So anyways, this Godiken was only out for about a year and a half. And then Matchbox swooped up the franchise. And I think Toynami ended up with it after that. And Toynami did.
I have like 4
plasticky.
Toynami. Yeah, I have 4
Yeah.
Toynami Voltrons.
Yep. But it's a neat toy. But you know, that was something that was kind of a fluke, frankly, because when the United States got it, it was actually a flop, like a total flop. It was too expensive. That was like $95, and it came out 83, and then GoBots I think came out late 84, and Transformers came out 84. And so Transformer Optimus Prime.
Yeah, so GoBots were a fight though. So
yeah,
GoBots were.
I think they were 83. I think they were 1 year before Transformers.
Yeah, they was 6 months actually.
Yeah.
So they were fighting with Transformers 6 months prior, but the problem was when GoBots came out, everybody's like, these are fucking stupid. And then Transformers came out and they're like, oh, these are much more complex.
This is what needs to happen. Yeah,
it's worth what we're paying, like as consumers.
Right. The GoBot franchise was screwed up because of their cartoon. They should have upped the game with their cartoon, not taken it down to like 5-year-olds. They should have upped it to 8 to 12-year-olds.
I agree.
And Transformers did the opposite. Transformers went up.
Transformers went way above what should have been watching it.
Yeah.
Kind of like, honestly, I kind of say like kind of like Motu. Motu was well beyond the audience, but that's what kept the kids engaged.
Yeah. Or how about WWE?
Well, I wasn't a wrestling person. That
I know, but I mean, you talk about something.
Ultimate Warrior. That's all
kids.
I knew.
Yeah.
But,
cool.
All right. So Ed, dude, again, losing my mind over the flag. We will share that link. I'm going to talk about Mars Auctions, man. You guys have the coolest shit I've seen in a long time. You name it, people are looking for it. So please talk it up, plug it for a second, and we'll move on. But plug it, man.
Sure. So Mars Auctions, MARZ. We get the old crusty stuff, right? We're getting estates, but we're not trying to just cover estates. We're working with
so cool,
Redline Hot Wheels. We're working with Cast Iron. We do Joe's, and so we're trying to be very, very inclusive.
You're very diverse.
Yeah, we've got an artist, a cast iron person, Tom Saloff. He made arguably the best cast iron toys in the world ever. And by the way, cast iron is a unique American art that a lot of collectors need to know more about. And so we mix that in. We're mixing in robots, Megatron, Optimus Primes on this auction, classic Japanese robots. And then we're mixing those with Smith Miller, Buddy L, some customs, some pedal cars. And all of this is out of Sarasota. We're keeping things low key because we try to offer extremely fair rates, and when people buy from us, we work to offer extremely fair rates. And as of this moment, that does not include brick and mortar. We'd be happy to do brick and mortar, but you could tell me if you disagree. But do you see yourself getting like a paddle, sitting in a gallery, raising your paddle, and having some lady go, huh, 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 or some guy
Nah, man,
saying, huh, huh? Or do
we
you
are
see
very
your,
much in the new age of digital.
or do you see you guys clicking on your
Yep,
phone? Yeah.
yep. On my
So
phone,
yeah.
very digital, and you guys are 100% accommodating that. Like, I got to give you
Hmm.
the glow to your serve, man. Like your product you have is awesome. You
Thanks.
guys are doing it awesome on the right platforms. I'm very appreciative of that. It's very easy
Hmm.
for me to like log on, click, and click on liveauctions.com and to make my bid and
Yeah.
get what it is I want to go for. And
Yeah.
Mars Auctions has some of the coolest shit. I'm not being like I'm not plugging. This does nothing for me, guys. Shellheads, I'm not getting
It's
anything from
terrible.
this.
Terrible shit. Don't buy it. Don't compete with you.
I'm just
Do
telling you,
not
Shellheads,
bid on the Mospita.
this does nothing
Go
for
flag.
me. I'm a huge
Yeah.
everything fan. It's vintage, whether it be
Yeah. Yeah.
Robotech, Transformers, whatever. This is not benefiting me. These guys are awesome. I'm
Well,
bidding
thank
on these
you.
toys strictly because of price,
Hmm.
the ease to do it. Ed's great, the platform's easy, and they have great products. And so I got to give them heads up, or a heads up. I'm sorry. Got to give them praise and whatever. Look, strings and toys, man. We're all buzzed, but thank you to these guys. It's awesome.
Thank
It's
you.
great.
Yeah.
Ed's doing the right things. We're very appreciative of it.
My
We love his
email
product.
for offline conversations, I don't think you can post it, but it's just toys, TOYS, toys at antiquetoys.com. So
Toys at antiquetoys.com. You guys got that?
correct. Yeah.
Shellheads? I hope. But Ed, please, anything you want to plug, man, just it's right now. It's what we're here
Sure.
for.
Should you open up the chat? Is there a chat question that you should look at? I was just glancing at the chat button.
No, these are
I'm
our
new to your
friends.
platform. Yeah.
Yeah, they say weird shit because they know us. We have a great chat, and these guys are great, and we have a good time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say, Rebel Girl. Well, here we go. It's our lovers vintage,
No, I
sweetie.
will
I
not
love you,
adopt
but
you. I'm sorry.
honey, I promise you, he has the vintage of vintage Star Wars. If
Yeah.
anybody's gonna have it,
Yeah.
I'm more excited about some of the like Godzilla pieces he has. Ed's
Mhm.
got a lot of like the vintage Joes. I wish he had Robotech. He might have it.
No, I've got some of
Robotech is
those.
a very
Yeah.
big thing for
Yeah.
me. I love Diaclone, all that kind of stuff. He's losing my mind with that Diaclone piece he has.
Nothing there. Nothing to see.
That's me, man. That's one of my things. My shellheads and my shellhead collectors love Transformers and they love
Right.
Turtles. And
So,
so,
what is the? Isn't there a Jaguar-esque um, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figure? Kind of a cat.
Jaguar.
Yeah,
So I don't know about a Jaguar. We have, as
like a
far as
cat.
value, we have Scratch,
Yeah.
who's just a cat, I guess you
Cat.
could call him. And then we have,
So, keep
oh,
talking.
here we go.
Keep talking.
That's all right, Ed. Let's see what you got.
Keep talking. So, I suspect that the character might have come from a Japanese villain,
It's damn
Style.
close.
and this is Hassan Jaguar.
Is that a Shogun?
It's a Japanese villain, Jumbo. So that's Hassan Jaguar, and it was a store display. But remember, we talked about a little oval on the boot. Are you able to see? Okay, see that? That's an oval.
Nope,
here?
I can't see it, but I'm gonna agree with you for a minute. Go ahead.
All right. Anyways, you can see it now.
Oh, I can see it.
All right, that's Popey Toys.
Ed, am I gonna agree that this is for sale to me?
No. so this is
Ed. You see this? You see this for sale to me, Ed?
strong arm, right? So your Mazinger, your Great Mazinger, your Dragoon.
I love Mazinger Z.
So in Japan, you had Amazon Rider, which was
or Kenshin Rider, the guy with the motorcycle and the.
So you're used to Kamen Rider, maybe.
Oh yeah,
this was his villain. And so on a store, they would put Hashan Jaguar fighting Kamen Rider. And so in the Japanese, like
we're about to be best friends, Ed. I'm just saying.
In the pop culture world, the villain was only made for store displays. Otherwise, they didn't sell them. And so, anyways, I thought this kind of reminded me of your turtle. Like I sort of see some inspiration in it. You may not.
So,
I don't know.
Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. We're doing this. Don't go anywhere.
He's not going anywhere.
Let me get my acrylic case.
Uh-oh.
Daddy's got some crap in all of his rooms behind him. So.
Yeah.
Wait.
Little.
I can get him out. I can get him out. He's only from 1983. He's not that old.
Yeah. I see some inspiration. Oh,
yeah,
I got one. Bit. So do you want to really fry your brain?
Don't do it.
You ready? Okay. What's the subject of TMNT? What animal?
Turtles.
Right. Okay.
Don't do it. Is something Gamera?
What? No.
Is it something Gamera?
No. Kame. Have you heard of Kame Bazooka?
Well, I remember Kamen Rider.
Right. Well, Kamen Rider had a villain.
Why do you get to have all this cool shit?
So that's Kame Bazooka.
Is that for sale?
No.
Oh.
So
why do you have the cool shit, man?
Because I've been in it my whole life.
That is so cool.
So it's
very Gamera. I can't see the rest, but it looks Gamera.
Yeah. Do you see? Yeah, I'll have to get it out of the box later. But this is a vinyl enemy.
Very cool.
And it's Kamen Rider's enemy. So this and this in Japan would have been the villains. Both of those would be the villains for Kamen Rider.
So who produced, Ed?
Popey. So Japan's Bandai subsidiary. So these are 73, like 72, 73 right here.
So rad.
Yeah. So those would be like great grandpas to...
Stop doing that to me.
To grandpas.
You keep doing that to me, man.
And then in the 80s,
God damn it.
They did weird crap like...
Yeah, you're still doing it. You're still doing it.
Hachan Robo.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Henshin Robo, that's fine. Yeah,
no, well, 8-Gen. So that's 8-man robot.
Do you have any of them? Do you have any like the Henshin Robo where it's like the whole guy who looks like a G.I. Joe, but it's not?
You know, I don't. And the reason I don't
is
because they fell apart. But I've got a whole line of Microman and Diaclone stuff later on if you want to check it out.
I both hate you and love you, and I feel like I have to come over just to see all that.
Yeah. Well, you're invited.
Thank you, man. So
Yeah.
listen, I'm gonna tie it up. We're over an hour, and
Okay.
Ed, I'd love to have you on again because
Sure.
I feel like we could spend another hour going through your collection.
Oh, we could go an hour through, like the book collection. Those are catalogs from the 1800s.
Oh my god.
1900s, and this these are catalogs by subject matter of toys around the world.
Ed, you hit
And
me in certain ways, man.
so my final plug for myself is this.
Go for it, man.
When I write an auction catalog about something, I don't just say it's a figure. I say it's a Voltron figure released 86. It's the largest version. It has this history and that history. And I try to paint a picture for people that can sign with me so that I give it the right promotion to then get top dollar for the consigners. And, like if it's you, if you've got duplicates, why? Like, don't have duplicates. Bring them my way. Have your clients bring duplicates my way. We can set new records because the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s will have some peaks right around now. If you have multi-generational stuff, we can talk about it, but I can help people get their money recycled so that the hobby's more fun. And I also mentioned that too. A fair number of people are sitting with Rubbermaids and Tupperwares and storage units and duplicates and triplicates.
Yeah.
One's boxed and one's wrapped and one's graded and one's loose. Here in the local area, you can drop stuff off with me in Florida, and we can get proper money for your stuff. And God help us. I mean, maybe your friends will consign in the same auction, your other friends consign that you consign, and then you can swap toys. But
Sure.
you've made money, they've made money. And I think it kind of helps because I used to try to pick prices as a dealer and things were fine. But we've kind of entered an era where it's extremely difficult to figure out pricing on stuff. So what's the most fair way
I
to go?
agree. 100%.
Fair way
Yeah,
to
I
go
agree.
is an auction. And then I always allow people to, if they earned, let's say $1,000, they can just apply it towards toys they buy, and then they're kind of neutral. Which is a nice way to go.
I kind of feel like you guys are so fluid and you know so much. There's so many toys that I feel like I should
Yeah.
grow past you before I even go like my own route. Meaning my vintage Voltrons, my vintage Robotechs, pieces that are a little more obscure.
Yeah.
That if you don't know Gakken, if you don't know
Yeah, I know.
Daikin, if you don't know Poppy,
Yeah.
if you don't know those, you don't know the value. Reality, right?
No, totally. I mean, if you're sitting on a Popey Robodachi ballerina, so there's a little ballerina this big. It's
You know it.
$2,000.
I may not know the value. Yeah.
But I'm always there to give for free in the community, at the toys at antiquetoys.com. So if you shoot me some photos and you're like, hey, what do you think of this? I'll tell you. I don't mind helping for free. And it tends to come back. But anyways, here in this local area, with respect, I'm, a local expert, a national expert. Like my auction items, I'm selling to Singapore museums. I'm selling to Japan.
I want what you have in the picture, by the way. Sorry.
What's that?
I want what you have in picture right now. So
I'm selling to Asia museums. And so it goes both ways. Maybe I can find stuff for you, Yeah. Hedera. Crappy little Hedera.
It looks like Megalodon from Godzilla and Megalodon.
Yeah.
And I love those. So my brother actually brought me into Godzilla when I was a kid. And so like King Caesar, all those characters.
Oh, those are great. Yeah.
That is so rad.
So this is like a 50s toy. And the head drags as it lights up. It's an idiot wheel. It's a battery op.
But it's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that kind of stuff.
Right. And the hope of Mars Auction is that, when you pick this up and that's for sale, if it's a reasonable price, you pick that up. And then maybe you pick up a Godzilla. Like I'm hoping people category jump.
Yeah.
That they broaden their horizons. You know, I do definitely have a large amount of concern about the collectible world.
We have our own concerns. We talked about that on the last show
Yeah.
where we were talking about how that breed, like I said earlier, certain clientele are dying out.
Right.
Yeah, so you don't know what's going to be here for the next 10, 15 years. You really
Yeah,
don't.
like none of it matters when you're enjoying what you have. So you're good.
Sure.
But I mean, I would absolutely implore everybody to cut some duplicates and go from, you know, like let's just call it fat and lean. Go from chunky fat down to a cold curated collection that's reasonable, because you know you're talking about, will certain toys be worth a certain amount of money later? um, Everything's going to be fair priced with a couple of exceptions, and I think the couple of exceptions would be, um, if prices are manipulated, and if
So,
they're manipulated they may come down hard, you know.
so 100% I believe that.
Yeah.
We've also gotten to the point where it's like you have to be realistic, where it's like this newer stuff, bleed it out, let it go.
Yeah.
And the vintage stuff, it's like you have to like make sense of it. Has this genre begun to die off where it's like, hey,
Hmm.
these cats are all 75, 80 years old.
Yeah.
This shit's old. Forget it. You're going to pay what it's going to pay. And unless
Yeah.
you want it or somebody in your same mindset wants it,
Right.
you're not going to make your money back. So you have to like stop and say, is it for you or is it for resale or is it for the next generation? You have to be realistic about what you're doing it for, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I I also think as a society there was a lot of money in, like, there's stupid amounts of money when the greatest generation um couldn't afford toys in the 20s and 30s, that then
COVID.
got,
Sorry.
well, they got stupid money and then toy collecting became a thing in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s. But a lot of that money came from people that were deprived, you know? So they
Sure.
were really furious about their thing. I think us kids of the 80s, um, I think we're probably a product of a toy run not lasting 2 years. We couldn't order it online. We couldn't, like, if we got it, we got it. If we lost out, that was it, right? Wouldn't, isn't it fair to say?
Yeah.
If you missed out on a G1 toy, would you jump on Amazon? Would you jump on eBay?
You gotta wait. It's not available to you. Well, find it
Yeah,
somewhere else.
yeah. So, anyways, neat stuff. Just a lot to think about. But in the meantime, the Mars auction's coming up. It's going off this Saturday. It's going to run from probably 10 to 10. And it'll be
I
on
was wondering when it was going to
liveauction.com.
stop off because I was like, when can I sniper?
Yeah, it's probably going to be about 60, 65 lots an hour. And so with an 800 lot auction, that'll be 11-ish hours.
So I'm going to go and share it. So anybody, showheads, guys, here's what's going to happen. Saturday, probably just pay attention, watch the auction. It's going to be ending later in the evening, I'm sure. But if you want a chance at the flag or the Terradrome, you got to be on there. You got to be watching it. It's going to happen. It's going to get down to the end, get down to the wire. I myself, showheads, I'm going to be bidding on it. Right now, myself and Jeff from Florida Toy Shows are going back and forth. I'm pretty sure I have more money than Jeff. But we're going to go back and forth. We got this. Playing games. Look, guys, if you
like
want
a
in.
wishbone, you're going to pull it and somebody gets the bigger half.
Yes, we're going to be like wishboning it. But as Ed said, such a great piece. I'm happy for Mars Auctions. Ed, again, you guys are awesome. The pieces you have out are great. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Appreciate
Some of the coolest shit. We'd love to have you on again.
Okay.
For sure, man. It's some really cool stuff. But Jeff, I'm coming for you, man. Do not outbid me on that freaking flag. It's gonna be awesome. So anyway, Guys, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Showhead, salute, drinks and toys. Hopefully you got a little funny, had a little drinks, had a great time. If not, whatever, we'll see you next time. Thanks so much. And as always,
Cheers.
nut kips.
Cheers.